Oh my gosh, ding, ding. We are live on the air. I don't know if this is working. cBas After Dark is here for the 14th of September, 2015. Thanks for being here. Trying to smooth out all the wrinkles in my stupid Flash t-shirt. This is the Flash t-shirt I bought in Mexico during my year there last year. Thanks for being here. I haven't been on the air for actually a couple of, well, I guess about a week. What are we doing? Well, it's Nerd News Monday, first and foremost. That's important. Second most is that, I don't know, today I was struck with some melancholy about the future, like what's going to happen. I still don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like at least I'm glad to be back on the air. We're going to try and continue to do this as long as possible, and there's nothing really stopping me. Nerd News Monday, Game Show Tuesday, Media Watch Wednesday, and anything can happen Thursday. However, this week, I decided earlier this afternoon that we would do kind of a week-long thing, all Media Watch related, because I've had a lot of media. Like, I spent last week not off of doing this show. Like, I mean, I know it's not like a job, but I actually didn't do any shows last week, and we were doing reruns of the fast food, junk food extravaganza show on Saturdays. And part of it is because I've been working. Like, I've been working a lot of late hours into the night, and it's just I have not felt like coming on the air and doing the show, because it's not even that I have, a lot of work and then the show. It's that I have to just stop and do this show and then continue working afterward. And I'm really tired, so I don't feel like doing it. But yes, today was the day the new television season kicked off, at least for syndicated shows. Let me finish the text on the screen here. If you want to call, of course you can call. If you want to text, of course you can text. The telephone number is 310 in the area code 310 776-5869. That's 310-776-Coons. I should probably write also here Nerd News Monday with a hashtag on there just for shits and giggles. This Google software, I swear to God, is like the bane of my existence. I don't know. And I'll even put my name up here just because I can. All right, here's what's happening. As I said, this week we saw some new things as far as the syndication television, and I was actually shocked. It's kind of what excited me for doing the show this week, is because the new TV season for like broadcast, I think, starts next week, because the way I'm gauging that is Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory. We left last season of The Big Bang Theory with a cliffhanger, and now next Monday, a week from tonight, will have been the season premiere. They're moving the show to Monday nights, and they're going to resolve the season cliffhanger, which left with Leonard and Penny driving to Vegas to get married, and Sheldon and Amy potentially breaking up, even though Sheldon Cooper, a spoiler alert, I'll even give you a chance to turn it off before I give you the spoiler. Sheldon had a wedding ring for Amy, and it didn't look like it was a bad one. It looked like it was a real wedding ring. So Lord only knows what's going to happen there. But the syndication TV world has different rules. I actually think Ellen started last week as far as new episodes of that Ellen show, which I cannot watch. But I know she was in New York doing the show, and that's cool, I guess. There's just too much screaming, too much women. Woo! Bullshit. I hate that. That's the reason I stopped watching the Today Show. It's the reason I don't like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is another show that started a new season today. And in fact, the funny thing about the new season of Millionaire is there's a new host. I like Terry Crews. He was in the Newsroom TV show. He was in the other show I like, which is Brooklyn Nine-Nine on the Fox. It's kind of a cop comedy, but Terry Crews was just really screamy and yelly, and I hate Meredith Vieira with a passion, but Terry Crews was really not a good thing for that show. And they also changed the rules. They changed the gameplay, and I did not like that. I think they're bringing back the original gameplay, although, to be honest, I missed the episode today. Jeopardy I did see. It was the first season, the first episode of the new season. I think they said their 38th year or 37th year on the air continuously, at least for this era of the show. We should do some Jeopardy, like maybe even old Jeopardy, if there is such a thing, on YouTube for Game Show Tuesday tomorrow night. So there's been a lot of TV news. I've been teaching quite a bit, so it's been a lot of work I've been doing there as well. But tonight's Nerd News Monday, and boy, have I got a good story to start things off with. Let me pull it up for you here because I really think this is kind of cool. A GoPro camera, which was sent on a weather balloon. Excuse me, trying to type it in here. A GoPro launched into space, or to the edge of space, to the edge of the Earth, has been recovered after 2 years. And it's all blamed on a bad cell phone network map. Let's explain. Let's actually switch over to the news story here and let you read along with me, because this is actually, I think, a cool story. Where is the story? Here is the story. The GoPro camera is sent to the edge of space, recovered after 2 years. And there's the Grand Canyon, by the way, from the stratosphere. Is this the video? Can we actually just see the video of the flight here? I guess there's music, which we don't need to hear, but let's look at the preparation for the balloon. There's the parachute drop test. Okay. Camera looked okay, I guess. Custom structure. It's almost like the egg drop competition we all had to do. A lot of padding. 20 miles to the west of the Grand Canyon. And they sent their balloon up. This video is like 4 minutes long, so we'll check it out. Here's the balloon getting filled with, I assume, helium. There's the parachute in its non-extended thing. I don't know what that little diamond box thing was. And then there's the students letting it go. And here's the camera, just kind of increasing stability. I guess it looks like there's even more than one camera, one aiming down, one aiming out. Which is a smart way to do it because the view from the side is not the same as you will see looking straight down. That's really interesting. God, I really like this video. And then here's the 9 minutes after launch, 22,000 miles approximately. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. I just really like to watch this. And so that's amazing, right? This looks as much like, you know, it looks as good. It looks better, in fact, than like a lot of movies that have tried to simulate this. And I don't think they have control over it. I think it's just kind of capturing what it captures. And I guess there's the image of the Grand Canyon, nearly 18 miles above the Grand Canyon. You know, this is great. I mean, students' stories are cool. And, you know, setting a camera up that high is very cool. But the exception is that the recovery did not go as planned. Wow, okay, so they used a Galaxy Note 2 cell phone. I'll let the video keep playing. And it failed to check in with its GPS location during the descent. At first, they thought their trajectory was off, but it turns out the cell phone coverage map they were using was inaccurate. I wonder what company it was. I guess AT&T. This meant the phone lost service during the descent, and that is why they never heard from it. Imagine how disappointed those students were, you know? I don't know what that was right there. That was kind of weird. That I guess it was caught by some kind of weird wind current or something. That was really weird. Or maybe that is that the beginning of the descent? Oh, I see. I think that's the beginning of the descent where they finally pop the balloon, or the balloon pops, and now they're seeing, what is that? Ice crystals or stars that are, anyway, here's, I guess, it falling back to the Earth. Which is pretty, you know, 30 minutes of wind tumbling later, 1 hour and 38 minutes later, bonk, and there it is. And it was filming the whole time. There's the ground track. Here's the max altitude. Oh, I see. This is kind of that 3D thing they do on the weather sometimes. Somebody giving the Spock thing, the Spock salute, the Vulcan salute during one of those pictures. There's a way to ensure your geek credentials, right? Give the Spock salute. Anyway, there's the team member names, and I think they deserve to be, sort of mentioned here. Brian Chan, Ved Shiriath, Ashish Goel, Tyler Reed, Paul Tarantino. Special thanks to Broadcom. An AT&T employee who was out on a hike found the phone or the camera. According to the students, the employee was able to get the missing footage and data back to them thanks to the presence of the intact SIM card. I mean, I don't think, did they even include the phone number or something in case, in case it didn't get recovered? It climbed almost 100,000 feet above the earth, descended for about 30 minutes, and landed 50 miles away. I'm sorry, that's really cool. That's the kind of nerd news story I really like to bring people here on Nerd News Monday on cBas After Dark. By the way, you can participate. This is not meant to be a lecture. People do text me and do tweet me and send other information my way. If you have a story you think I should cover or that I'd be interested in, please, for the love of God, send that to me. You can text this number at any time. You can call during the show. I may not answer if you call outside of the show, but that's just because I'm probably sleeping or teaching. I am an English teacher with a schedule, after all. And I don't know. That's just kind of where I wanted to start. We did the the other thing that happened this last couple of weeks was my mom had surgery, and I've been trying to assist her in her hip surgery recovery. And today's her birthday, so happy birthday, Mom. Okay. At any rate, let's do some fun stuff. I saw something yesterday on the Mystery Science Theater channel I watch on the internet, which is a movie called Century 21. Now, at first, when I heard that, I thought it was from the Realty people. And I'm like, really? Century 21? Like, whatever. But no, it turns out that's actually just the name of the it's just the name of the video, and it has nothing to do with the Realty people. Here's the window I want to share. Let's just see live. I actually meant to dial this up before the show and did not. So let's see if we can watch YouTube. There we go. Century 21. And will it give me just commercials for the thing? Century 21 Bell Labs. Let's try. Century 21 calling Bell Labs promo film. Now, we're not going to watch the Mystery Science Theater version, although I kind of feel like that would be better. But let's go ahead and just watch this. It's like 15 minutes long, so I don't know if this will be boring or not. I don't think it'll be boring, even though it's not the Mystery Science Theater version. And the only reason I say that is because it's just really fun. I love watching these things as they're promoting Bell Labs at the 1962 Seattle World's Fair. So Century 21 calling. Produced by Jerry Fairbanks Productions. I love that. Directed by Robert Larson. And this website on the bottom is not endorsed by me. I don't know what's on there. I always thought that was weird, people waving at the oncoming train. Like, do you know somebody in that train? How do you know they're even on there? How can you can't see them? You're lucky to even be able to, I mean, I guess in this configuration you can see ahead of you, which is not true of many trains. You're kind of seeing out the side for the most part. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
All passengers must leave the train at this terminal. Round-trip passengers, turn to your left as you leave the train.
Wow.
Exit to your right.
That guy sounded a bit old. Not that that's bad. I sound old. I sound old myself. Space Needle much? Okay. I just love watching this. They made a joke about gifts from Germany in the MST3K version. Just like pick it. Okay, let's go. This whole first era, this whole first section of the film is not narrated, and then it just kind of starts being narrated suddenly. It's really weird. She wanted to buy a Japanese kimono. Isn't the whole World's Fair like a science exhibit? Like, I guess if it's called the World's Fair, it's not just the U.S., but... And the other funny thing is we have watched a video before on this very show that will profile some of the very same things we see profiled as far as the phone company is concerned. Like you'll see the call director go by, you'll see speaker phones and stuff. The little call, the special speed dialer that they invented to work with the rotary phone system before there were touch tone phones. How do animals learn? Here, have a bird. Okay. I guess it can peck out a code and get a pellet? Isn't that what it is? Okay, the communications section. And the communications marching band. There's the bell. The other joke, Mystery Science Theater, was out of the way, old people. Young people coming through.
Here is a world of communication, tailored for your needs of today.
There we go. There's the call director.
Bringing together all people in a new era of understanding. Keeping in touch by means of the amazing new Bell Boy is the Bell System's answer today for
the Bell Boy. Pager, right? First pager.
Available at all times in the fast-paced world of Century 21. When someone calls and you are out, you can be reached by dialing your Bell Boy code number. When you get a signal on the Bell Boy, you can go to a phone to call your office or home and get the message. This is the automatic dialer. Just listen for dial. The Bell System automatic dialer dials for you more quickly and easily than you can do it yourself. Numbers you call frequently can be punched on small plastic cards. Pick a city, then see how fast direct distance dialing really is. Dial the area code, then the weather report telephone number. Presto, instant weather. With DDD, most calls go through in 20 seconds or less. Here you see the Bell solar battery in action, turning light into electricity to run this display. Solar batteries are used to convert sunlight to electrical power and make our satellites talk back from outer space.
you. Hi, this is the Bell System's new touch-tone dialing. With this indicator, you see how many seconds you saved the new way. Let's try it. Okay, I'll race you. Ready? Go. I beat you. Welcome to our exhibit. I'm glad to have this opportunity to tell you about the telephone switching center of tomorrow. The electronic central office, which is made possible by the magic of the transistor and other tiny but amazing devices invented by the Bell Telephone Laboratories. Imagine, if you can, an electronic brain operating at millions of a second speeds. I say brain because the new electronic central office will almost think for itself. It will not only carry out instructions you dial into it, it will also remember instructions you provided earlier. These memory features will offer many convenient services I'm sure you'll be delighted with. For one thing, you'll be able to reach frequently called numbers by dialing only 2 digits. All you'll have to do is give the telephone company a list of the numbers you dial most frequently. The electronic brain's memory will do the rest. To see how it works, please watch the screen. Is it time to phone Grandma? Let's see. All right. Now, let's say you want to call your mother, who lives in Des Moines. You call her fairly often, so the telephone company has assigned 53 as your special number for making this call. When you dial the 5 and the 3, the electronic central office's brain says, uh-oh, something special. Searches its memory for what those 2 digits represent, and dials the area code plus the phone number in Des Moines for you. Hello? Hello, Grandma. Ever been invited out for an evening and had to turn it down because you're expecting an extra special call? Well, the electronic central office will solve that problem for you, too. When you do go out, it will be a simple matter to have your calls transferred. All you'll have to do is dial a special code, which tells the equipment's brain you want your calls transferred, and then dial the telephone number where you can be reached. Our amazing electronic central office will take it from there. I think it's a wonderful call for you. No, you can't. Hello?
Diane?
No, this isn't Diane. It's Linda.
This is Diane Brown.
Oh, yes, she's here. She had her calls transferred to my house. Hi, Jim. And what about those times someone has tried to call you and your line is busy? We thought of that, too.
Fine, Sarah, that's fine. I'll have the information for you at the meeting next Wednesday.
When you hear the beep tone on your telephone, you know someone else is trying to reach you.
Sarah, will you hold on just a minute? Someone else is trying to reach me.
All you do is flick the switch hook to hold the first call while you take the second.
Oh, hello, dear. I was just talking to
I also
Sarah.
feel like switch hook is a word they kind of whipped out on us
Okay,
suddenly.
dear, but you tell Fred next time he's in town he's to bring Helen, right? Bye, dear.
You flick the button back and go on with your first call.
Hello, Sarah? That was Bert calling.
Easy as pie, isn't it? And here's another feature you're going to find handy. Now look.
Sarah Jane knows a lot more about that than I do. Why don't we get her on the line and find out?
Let's get her on the line, you know.
Okay, just a minute.
Want someone else on the line? That's easy too. Flick the switch button, then dial a code number and the number you want.
How many of these
and
began as
press them.
conveniences and now are pains, right?
Hello, Jane. This is Martha. This might have Sarah on the line, and we want to know what to do about...
As we look to
About
the
what?
future, we see many extras for tomorrow's telephone users. One day, you may be able to call home and automatically turn off the oven.
If you were stupid enough to leave it on, is the joke they make in
Or,
Mystery Science
From a
Theater.
public telephone a couple of 100 miles away, turn on your home air conditioner and have the house nice and cool when you return from your hot trip. It may even be possible to comb and water the lawn during that dry spell when you are many miles away on vacation.
The funny thing is, as ridiculous as that functionality seemed at first, like I can totally turn on the lights in my room or the fan from my cell phone.
At the Bell Telephone Laboratories are doing to make your service better day by day. From their work has come breakthrough after breakthrough in science, providing the intricate devices that lie at the heart of your telephone service of tomorrow. Through the invention of better things, we are trying very hard to give you the kind of telephone service you want and need. And we think you'll agree, after seeing the many exhibits we have here, there is no end to telephone progress now or in Century 21.
No end to progress. And I mean, now we have digital everything in our pocket, Many cell phones that you have in your pocket today are more powerful than even that entire bank of, computer equipment they had back then. Oh, right. I forgot. Okay, here's this ridiculous song they go on now. Again, the narration kind of starts out of nowhere and kind of drops away out of nowhere. And now we have just this.
On a needle up high, you can look through the eye and you're seeing it all. Yes, you're seeing it all.
Yes, you're seeing it all.
As the present unfolds, what the future beholds, you're elated, fascinated. See the art shows, walk the thoroughfare, on the boulevards leading everywhere. Ride a rickshaw, dine on caviar, you can tell a foreign star. It's a wonderful age on a beautiful stage, demonstrated for you, been created for you. It's just a part of the thrilling start of Century 21.
Wow. Okay. So, you're watching cBas After Dark. It's Nerd News Monday. I do stuff like this sometimes, just when I think it's more interesting than reading, news about nerd stuff, which I do also sometimes. Let's see, what else can we look at here? The traveling telephone switching machine. Is there a year on this? This is actually from the official AT&T Bell Labs tech channel on YouTube. Let me turn off the annotations here, and we will definitely watch this. Does it say what year this is? No. The 5A crossbar switcher is what they're talking about in this movie. It was built by Western Electric at the Columbus Works. It was a telephone switching machine that can handle either around 1,000 lines or up to 2,000 with an extension upgrade. 2,000 phone lines. So let's just check out this phone switcher. For those of you curious about how phone technology used to be, let's take a look. I think this will be fun. It's only 7 minutes long or so.
What you have here is the union of two time-tested inventions, the tried and true number 5 crossbar telephone switching system and the wheel.
And the wheel.
We don't take credit for the wheel.
Ha ha ha. All right, this music is spectacular. Do, 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 do. Hey.
We call it the 5A crossbar, but first it's a truck.
Okay, I'm starting right now. I think I know who that announcer is. I think he's the guy who did the Schmuckers commercials for years.
Platform and wire grid. And when we're through, it'll be a central office. A little pulling and we've got a ceiling. That's where the cabling and lights go, knit through the grid. This thing's really on wheels. The switching frames are assembled in the same shop as regular number 5 crossbar,
and wheeled out here onto the truck bed.
So, okay, they're saying the number 5 crossbar is that we know what it is. I think that's an interesting thing about this. Like, okay, this is clearly, again, all right, back to me just for a second. Who was this for? What was the audience? Who was going to watch this? And details like that tell me this is not for the public. That last one we watched, Century 21 calling, that was for the public, glossing over the technical nitty gritty and just providing you with a consumer face, you know, a simple consumer view of whatever the technology or technologies are that are involved. So to sort of look at this through the same eyes as that last film is not correct, because this is for like an engineering. I guess this is a training film for engineers who worked at the phone company. I mean, I still don't know exactly who the audience is, but I know I like looking at this stuff because holy God, you know, it was built in the same factory as the regular 5A. The regular 5A, what does that even mean? You know, it was a phone switcher that I guess was less mobile, right? It was one of those phone switchers like the computers of 1950 or whatever that were in an entire room and damn sure did not go anywhere. Let's keep watching here just because I can't stop myself. It's only 7 minutes, so it won't be that long, even if it's excruciating.
What makes the 5A really different? It's
Yeah.
the modules. They're like blocks that all fit together.
The modules.
We're just tying this whole central office together. It's like a big puzzle. Doing the wiring here at the factory saves at least a couple of months in installation time.
Really? Okay.
Practically all they have to do at the site is plug the office in and tie it into the trunk line.
So again, the people watching, I guess, work at the phone
Right
company
here at the plant before it leaves.
and maybe even are familiar with the permanent larger machines that do the same job of this mobile traveling machine.
Inside and out, number by number. So when we pack this thing to travel, we know it works. And all the packing's around a steel truss, so we know it'll work when it gets where it's going. We can build a 1,000 or 2,000 line central office in a matter of weeks. Build
Make
it
sure you put the
and
logo
any
on it.
telephone company in the country as fast as they can put up the building.
And I also like that it's the Bell logo, but if you see on the side, on the left there, it actually says Western Electric. It does not say Bell Labs. It does not say AT&T or, you know, the phone company. Wide load. Again with this music. Yeah.
I haul this kind of stuff all the time. Just say it's an unusual load. It's unusual. All I know is I got it here on time and in one piece.
Okay, the truck driver is narrating now.
You might call it a central office in a cornfield. That's really what it is, and the 5A's just what we needed. Western's got the whole package scaled down, so you don't have to put up a fort to house it. Miniature crossbar switches, 7-foot bays instead of 11, all in one piece, 10 by 42 feet. It even comes with its own power source and a separate module.
Wow.
It'll roll right in, or as much as a 25-ton block can roll, sort of deliberately, carefully. That's 1,000 telephone lines rolling in there. And if we need more capacity later, it can be doubled by adding another switching module. 2,000 lines in all.
2,000 lines. Wow.
In fact, since this unit's permanently fastened to the platform it was built on, we can crate it up and move it on if the area outgrows it. And if we're ever in real trouble, we can get a 5A from the plant much faster than it would take to build a central office from scratch.
Until the first tornado comes, and then it wipes out the entire mobile home that is housing this phone switcher in a cornfield. Like, do people work in there, or is that where people can
We
work?
had a 2,000 line step-by-step CDO here, completely underwater. When the water went down, it was a mess. Had to scrap the whole thing. Just pulled it out and rushed an emergency PBX trailer in from out of state.
Port bill number, please.
Yeah. Okay.
But how long could we keep this up? Luckily, we didn't have to.
So there. Okay, I see. You know, severe weather caused flooding. The flooding destroyed the phone company building with the equipment or the switching panels inside, and all these operators who I guess did this stuff manually back then had to find some other place to do it because water and mud had soaked through everything that was in their office. Now they're working in a truck, which sucks.
Western had one of these 5A crossbar offices ready to go. So we had it trucked in from Columbus. Put up a new building on higher ground.
Yeah,
Once
smart.
the system's in there and cut over, we'll be back to normal. The riggers are local men, but Western's working closely with them, providing detailed plans and even customized rigging equipment like the basket hitch. The whole process is painstaking and deliberate, adjusting a chain here, link by link, tightening a come-along there.
Come along.
Western doesn't figure its job's done until the office is off the truck, in the building, and working.
I'm sorry, I'm still Century 21. Beep, beep. Notice that beep is missing? Like, don't you think if it were a truck of today, it would have beep?
Hard to picture all this delicate communications equipment in a package that can be ordered up like an automobile with special options and moved across the country in a matter of days. And swung into a building all in one piece at the end of some cable. Once it's in, all that has to be done is to unwrap it, hook up power, and check out the system. Pull the trunk lines in and we can wire the main frame.
It's supposed to take 4 weeks to cut one of these babies over. We're going to do it in 1. This thing will be clicking in no time.
Clicking. Five, 5. Dun, dun, dun.
Hello?
The guy with the cigarillo was interesting. All right, that was 2 years before I was born. 1973 there. You watch cBas After Dark, Nerd News Monday, and I don't know why I'm fascinated so entirely with these damn movies. I'm trying to stick to the quick ones. The Hello Machine. Must we watch the Hello Machine? Yes, we must. Maybe we'll even wrap things up after this because I'm really tired again. But we're back from a week off, so I feel like I want to at least do the bare minimum here. Let's go back to this video and watch the Hello Machine. All right. From the AT&T archives.
Before Carol Ballard, the director of the...
All right, I've made fun of this guy before. All jokes will be held in abeyance. I feel like I was really mean to him before, so whatever. He's probably done like so much real like phone company shit with him, just himself, that he deserves respect, even though I don't know that. And even though he acts and kind of talks kind of funny.
Machine had moved on to making full-length movies like The Black Stallion and Never Cry Wolf. He produced a series of now highly regarded short films. This is one of them. The film examines the building of an electronic switching system in Southern California. The new system replaced the electromechanical system that came before it, tripling the number of calls that could be placed over AT&T's long-distance network.
Okay, interesting.
It was the culmination of nearly 20 years of research at a development cost of $500 million.
Just, okay, real fast, before we get started. Like, I mean, this stuff blows my mind, too. And I always stop the thing and talk about what blows my mind. But I mean, the capacity is one thing, the condensing of size is another thing. That's also interesting. But just, I mean, the research itself, that's the point I want to make, right? These companies were engaged in scientific research, right? These days you think of research as ever only being done by universities, very little independent scientific research or experimentation being done on most things now, maybe it's not how it is in reality, but I certainly think that's the mentality, right? Most people think research is done only at the university level. Or I suppose, like, you think of biopharmaceuticals, people experimenting with drugs. Drug companies do research that might go nowhere, right? That's the point. Research that might go nowhere. When, as they joke in Mystery Science Theater, when scientific discovery, when science didn't need any particular reason to be doing what it was doing, or didn't need a goal. Science was just experimenting for the sake of science and blowing shit up and just seeing what would happen, but as science had no specific purpose, that was the phrase. And I feel like, dude, I mean, there is no place, I feel like, now, today, that is doing science. I mean, the last thing it was doing, it was NASA, right? Science with possibly no results, right? It could fail. This research could go nowhere. And we don't know until we try. What's over the next hill, the idea of discovery, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep watching. I don't want to be boring, but I'm fascinated by that. And I wonder if it goes on in the phone company communications context as much as it used to. My sense is it does not.
By 1974, when this film was made, more than 5 million customers would have had their calls routed through such a system. And it's this kind of human-to-human connection that Ballard tries to spell out in this poetic film.
Switching back.
He especially lingers on shots of the hands building the system. The people at Western Electric weaving, sewing, and wrapping the wires that would soon carry voices. This machine here in our archives is the original master console for the 4th version of the ESS.
Wow.
The first fully digital system. It was installed in Chicago in 1976 and could handle 600,000 calls per hour, nearly doubling its predecessor. Today, ESS systems are giving way to what's called a soft switch system, designed to handle data as well as voice channels. Enjoy the film.
Yeah, we will. Believe me, we will. The Hello Machine. Okay, again, who's the audience? This is for regular people, right? Because it's got a simple title. Trippy ass music, the hallmark of the 70s. Hello to my Trekkie friends, by the way, on the collective. If you happen to switch over and watch this for a while, thank you. I'll try and check the chat. I can't read that copyright. 5074, I guess it said. LXXIV 74. I guess, are we supposed to know what we're looking at here? I feel like no. It's just supposed to be artistic at the beginning. Maybe even have a sort of a priming effect. You know what psychological priming is? Like when you've seen something once and you recognize it later, even if you don't realize you're recognizing it later. To have seen something once helps recognition again later. Obviously, you're not seeing something or processing it for the first time. And sometimes I think that's what stuff like this is. It's just showing you this shit so that when time comes to identify it later, you'll have at least more of a clue than you would have originally. I don't know what those things are. I don't know what those things are. I have a sense what that is. Okay. I have a sense what those are. It's wire being coiled, I guess for magnetic reasons. And again, even the machines themselves are a marvel, but the machines building them? I find those machines that do these functions, like wrap a wire around a pole, that's fucking amazing. that shit right there. Like, if that looks like a person's doing this, but even so, like, how did a person ever learn to do it, and how did a person ever teach a computer or a machine to do it? Solder, 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 solder. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bored, frankly. I mean, this is all very intricate and cool in its own way, but let's get to some narration or some explanation or something. Well, this is going on for days, isn't it? Is this... Do they ever get to narration? I guess not. Okay, well, so much... I mean, this is cute, but I didn't realize there's no narration. Let's watch just the end here.
What's happening, man? Hello?
Hi.
Somebody just dialed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Are you on your way home? I'm fine. Your geraniums are so beautiful.
Listen, we're having a surprise birthday party tomorrow night
You're
for
not
Elaine.
going to believe this. I'm lost.
Now, look, you can't refuse a deal like that, huh? Oh, don't time.
Okay, back to me again, this damn software. But I mean, we weren't really going to keep watching that. I was much disappointed with what we just saw there. But let's find another one to watch before we actually just say goodbye. Maybe a quick short one. They have quick short ones here. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is up with my goddamn... Why my mouse is zooming rather than going up and down. Okay, here we go. Micro World, that looks like good. The step-by-step switch, I think. Or maybe the astonishing, unfailing bell system. That looks really long, though. 25 minutes. Let's just look at the step-by-step switch here. Oh, man, this one looks good, though. All right, we're going to start this. We may not watch the whole thing. Or should we watch Goodbye Central? All right, we'll do that. I want to see that black and white one that I was hovering over, though. Goodbye Central, 1978.
Number 3.
Hey, what's the story here? There's no dial on the phone.
So you don't need a dial setting.
You don't need to dial. Just tell me who you're calling. And again, like in this day and age, that lady, she would be suspected of like NSA, you know, working for the NSA or tracking people's data or, you know, whatever. Wow. Number, please.
Long before anyone knew about dial telephones, everyone knew the phone operator. We used to call her Central.
Central.
Central was always there, nimble fingers connecting one phone to another, a familiar voice offering personal service. But more customers kept calling, and more, until sheer volume brought about the dial. Central almost faded from the scene. Catalina Island, California is going to be the last Bell telephone office where operators still connect local calls.
Huh.
The residents like it this way. For some old-time switchboards elsewhere, the dial tone is sounding. But here, there's no plan or reason to change.
No plan or reason to change? I bet.
Was installed on Catalina in 1923.
I bet that's not true
In the
now.
resort's heyday, 15 busy operators switched the calls. Just a few provide the same service now.
4.
The island's quiet charm
Doing the job of 15.
personality of its phone service. Gone are the flappers of the jazz era who flocked to the famous Avalon Ballroom. Today's visitors find escape from the crowded mainland, a spot where kids can romp in the open square.
Like the poetry or
the way of life, much of the country is
not poetry, but like the poeticness, you know, this is very artistic.
Yet unhurried.
Written, you know, written by a writer.
Virginia City, Nevada is different. It's growing, and dial phones are coming. Marcella Goodman is an operator there.
Virginia City. 564. Here's the phone number, sir. I'll ring it for you. When I first started working in 1949, I don't think we had over 100 telephones. We didn't handle over maybe 30 calls an hour. Now, we handle from all the way from 60 to 80 calls an hour.
Wow.
It's really too busy for one operator. Yet 2 operators can't work this system because it is not a multiple board. We like to give the best of service, but sometimes we can't.
I'd like to give the best service.
Jack Flanagan is the county assessor.
Hello, Marcella. Would you get me the sheriff, please?
The sheriff? Is he calling 911? Somebody died.
Since a child growing up, I've seen quite a little bit of changes in the town. Way back in the early days, why everything was, of course, team drawn. Not too long ago, in Virginia City, we were tearing down old buildings to use them up for firewood. But now we're rebuilding on account of the increase in the population coming into town. The vast movement to the west, why it's starting in to rub off of Virginia City. There's a lot of newcomers coming into town, and they just kind of fall in love with Virginia City.
Okay, what's a suicide table? Is that a gambling thing?
So things have changed quite a little bit.
George Bonanza here to see you. Sorry, George Costanza.
Telephone system, that certainly has changed too. From a child growing up, we've used the old crank system here in Virginia City. Call up, and you never have to bother about giving any number. You just say, operator, give me the Joneses or the Smiths. And you get.
Okay, that's an interesting feature right there, right? Not having to remember a number, not having to have a list. Of course, digitally, all of our stuff is like all saved automatically and blah, 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 our contacts list now. But back then, to just talk to a person and say, yeah, get me the pharmacist, get me the, I guess they would say druggist back then, get me the grocery store, get me, you know, the school.
I'm on the phone. But I think now, with the town growing, the girls in the office are really overworked. But the service that the girls have given us in the past has been really wonderful, and we're going to certainly miss the operators in Virginia City.
Number please.
St. Louis, Michigan, like Virginia City, is joining the dial network. Until recently, a glowing lamp still met a caller on the line. The operators answered, marking circuits with plastic rings.
Wow.
In the peak tourist season, they had trouble keeping up. Calls were recorded on tickets, whizzed overhead on a clattering track. The system stole the operators' time, and they had little time to give.
Wow. That little slidey thing, are you shitting me? Like somebody, okay, I'm trying to interpret what I saw there. Okay, so you have ladies at that end that are picking up the ringing lines and going, number please. Okay, Pennsylvania 65000, and you write down Pennsylvania 65000 one moment, and you put them on hold or something, and then you write down on a little card, Pennsylvania 65000, stick it up there and slide it to the other end where somebody on the like dispatching thing or whatever. I mean, it boggles the mind, I think, in a non-imaginary way. Like, I really am sort of astounded by how that used to work and how apparently it seemed to used to work so well, except for the fact that the women were overworked. You know, we got like 5 minutes left. We'll finish this and then we'll stop. 2 more minutes or so. 5 minutes left in the show. Maybe it won't last that long. I don't know.
Installers have completed a versatile electronic switching system for St. Ignace.
St. Ignace? Number, please.
Craftsmen wired thousands of connections, linking the millions of components. Hours of testing ensured peak performance on the day the system was placed in service.
Peak performance. Gotta have peak performance.
When all the work was completed, direct local dialing became available for the first time. Calls can be switched instantaneously. Records kept automatically.
Teletype.
The new equipment will not only improve service. The complex system also contains the foundation for new telephone conveniences, which can be introduced in the future. So the clatter of the old record carrier now is silent in St. Ignace.
Thank God.
Operators have recorded their last long-distance call, darkened the last switchboard lamp. Modern electronics can handle the service, but the style was set by Central.
We only have 1, 2, 3, and 4 digits in St. Ignace.
Why is that?
Because we don't have dial system here yet.
That explaining.
Well, we have a manual office, and we ring the number for you.
A switchboard that works by hand?
Yes, we still have it.
Bye, Central. Presented by Western Electric. And thanks to the folks at good old American Telephone and Telegraph. And the History Center. Like, I mean, it's one thing I always say, I respect any effort like that if they have some kind of little documentary thing along the way, especially when it can be accessed 50 years later, almost 50 years later, right? Like, God damn, that is, to use a word I got in trouble for in the Trekkie chat, an anachronism, you know? It wasn't that I got in trouble for it. It's something like, what is that anachronism again? It's something old, you know, it's like something out of time. And that's kind of how I feel about that. It's like, whoa, even in 1978, that slidey operation was weird and like outdated, and those poor ladies, you know, I guess they could have given them like an hour on, an hour off kind of a thing to try and relieve some of it if they were really getting that much overworked, but I don't know. As always, text me here, 310-776-COONS. That's 310-776-5869. The Twitter is here. Tomorrow is Game Show Tuesday, and as I said, maybe we'll do some old Jeopardy tomorrow just to sort of get the feel, since Jeopardy just started today. It's 37th or 38th season continuous. What did it look like before then? You know, the previous incarnations, when it was like cards and things that rotated and shit instead of screens. And like I said, there's going to be a Media Watch theme all week since the shows are coming back this week and next week on television, and we'll talk a lot about that stuff. I have used up my hour blabbing about AT&T, old films. I love doing it. Maybe we'll do it some more. For now, we will say goodnight. I'm cBas. This is cBas After Dark. See you tomorrow. Let's click stop instead of just, that'd be great.